guys, welcome back to my channel, Crafted by Kiki. In today's video, we're going to be making some Christmas cookies for my neighbors. So with these cookies, I want to do about 3 types for them. I want to make them a chocolate chip, snickerdoodle, and then like a chocolate cookie with white chocolate in it. The reason that I want to do this is that I want to start advertising for my business. I want to pass out my menu. I want to start by offering like a family meal style kind of menu for my neighbors. Something easy I could start off with while I grow my business. Before we get started on baking, I just wanted to show you guys the packaging that I have for these cookies. I am going to send some to my friend as part of her Christmas gift. So I have a tin here for that. And then I also have some paper boxes for my neighbors. So the top of it will say Merry Christmas, and this is just the bottom of the box. And then I also have these other boxes that kind of have like a clear, semi-clear. I also have some papers to put in the boxes so that the cookies can sit on. So yeah, this is what my packaging is gonna be. Once again, I'm gonna attach that with my business card and my my family menu. And yeah, we're gonna get into baking now. Okay guys, so these are the ingredients that I'm using for all 3 of my cookies. Right here, I just have a notepad with my recipes on there. And yeah, so we're gonna get started. First, I'm gonna start off with the chocolate chip cookies. So I'm just gonna go over the ingredients that I have just for all the cookies in general. We have white sugar, we have brown sugar, we have all-purpose flour, we have our salted butter, then we have our vanilla, our cocoa powder, baking soda, sea salt. Then we have some eggs, our measuring utensils, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda. So I have both. And then we have cream of tartar. And then I also have my mixer. You can do this by hand, or you can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer. I prefer using the stand mixer. And then I have my attachments. And I also have a sifter to sift out any clumps for the sugar and the flour as well. And a spatula. Okay, so to start, first I washed my hands. It's already been done off camera. I have the oven preheated to 350. That's what I'm gonna need across all the cookies. So that is going. First up, we are gonna start with the chocolate chip cookies. Like I said, I have the recipe right here. I'll also take a picture and include it at the end of the video. For this recipe, it says start with 2 cups of softened butter. So whenever making cookies, you always want to cream your sugar, your butter first, and then add in your eggs. That just helps you to get a fluffier cookie. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna start with. So 2 cups of butter. Each stick, let's see. Each stick is a half a cup. So we're gonna use 4 sticks for 2 cups. This recipe, I forgot the yield amount I was doing, but I did double the recipe. I want to say it yields 72 cookies, I believe. I'll have to double check on that and do some math. Also depending on the size of the cookie you choose. So I will let you guys know that at the end. But yeah, so first we're going to start with 2 cups of softened butter. Each stick is a half of a cup. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the stand mixer. Honestly, I hope my mixer is big enough for this recipe to do all in one go, but we'll see. Pretty sure it will be. This might be a close fit. And my softened butter, to soften it, I just left it out for a few hours and it's at the perfect texture right now. I've seen many different ways you could soften butter. I've seen people just microwave the butter for like 10 seconds, 10-15 seconds. Or I've seen people stick it in a bag and stick it in warm water to soften. Or I've seen people take a hot glass, they'll microwave a glass and then put it over the butter to melt it that way. So there's no right or wrong way to really soften butter per se. I mean, it's really just up to you. I just find it easiest because I wasn't baking right away when I took out my ingredients, so I just left it out. Perfect timing on everything. So, and this is the 4th stick here. Once again, this is salted butter. Some recipes may say unsalted butter. Personally, I feel like salted butter is just better. It adds more flavor. It's not really that salty, so that's just me. Okay, so that is in there. Next, we're going to add in our sugars. So we have white sugar and brown sugar going into this. So we need 2 cups of each of those. So I have this right here. And also when measuring, it's important to know the difference between the types of measuring utensils. So this, for example, is used for liquids, and you can tell by the spout that it has, but this is a liquid measure, and they do measure different. So we need a dry measuring utensil, which I do have one right here. This one one is 1/4 of a cup. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a couple. Got my cup measure here, maybe 2 cups of each sugar. Like I said, I want to sift it out to make sure there's no clumps. So we have the sifter here. Honestly, pro tip, this attachment being put on last would be helpful so it doesn't get in your way. But yeah, that's the first one. This is a pretty big recipe that I'm doing only because I'm serving it to my neighbors, and I have about 20 neighbors that I'm trying to cover for, which is a lot. So I want to just make sure I give them a decent variety as well as amount. Some of the neighbors, I do know that they are single, so I know I don't have to do as much for their little package, but I'm still trying to give everybody a good variety. Okay, so white sugar has been scooped. Now on to the brown sugar. When you measure brown sugar, you normally want to measure it packed, meaning that we're just going to pack it into the measuring cup so that way we can get the right amount. It's okay if you make a mess. This I won't really sift out. Okay. 2 cups of that. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead and put that on the attachment and let this mix. This is what it looks like so far. As you can see, the butter has clumped inside of the whisk and the sugar's on the outside. You can move it up a little faster so we can get out of there and actually mix it. Okay, so now our butter and sugar is creamed together. It's all mixed in evenly. And now we're gonna go ahead and start adding our eggs. This recipe calls for 4 large eggs, so we're gonna go ahead and get those cracked out. Okay, so now time to crack in our eggs. Quick little pro tip, when you're cracking your eggs, yes, you may know how to crack eggs without getting the shell in, but you never know if that egg could be rotten. Sometimes eggs just get mixed up, it could be in the wrong batch, so I like to crack the eggs in a separate container and then pour them in once I know that everything is fine, just to be extra precautious. That's the first one. What did I say, 4? 2. And add it to the mixer. You can go one by one or you can go all in. Make that come together. And you can also scrape the sides of your bowl just to make sure all the ingredients are getting mixed in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the mixer now. And then I'm gonna open it up. You guys can see what it looks like. It's coming together. Tripod is falling. Okay, so now I'm gonna scrape the sides one at a time. and let it mix some more. So there's definitely some clumps in here. Put that back down. Okay, so now we're going to add in the vanilla extract. We're adding in 4 teaspoons. I'm going to add that in while it's mixing. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is all of our wet ingredients now added. We're gonna go ahead and scrape out the whisk. And now our mixture is light and fluffy. So once again, this process is called creaming. We cream together our butter and sugar, then we add in our eggs. And that's usually the method you use when you're making cookies. Mixture here. I'm going to take off the whisk attachment for now. Actually, we're not going to use the whisk attachment anymore. I'm going to put this to the side because now we are going to just use the regular paddle for the flour and all the dry ingredients. So once again, we have all-purpose flour. For this recipe, we need 6 cups. Which is quite a lot, but I'm doing a pretty big batch. And once again, I do want to sift it to make sure there's no clumps. That just helps you to get a fluffier cookie. Okay, so this is 1 cup. For the sake of the size of my mixer, I'm just going to mix it halfway first, that way it's not overworked. So we're going to go ahead and put that attachment back on. Switching to the paddle attachment. Reason being is that we needed it to incorporate air, so we used the whisk attachment when we were creaming. So now it's time for the paddle attachment. Now we just need everything to come together with the flour. So once again, this is just 3 cups, and then we still have to add the other 3. So you guys can see that. So far, it's coming together nice. Okay, so now we have like a soft texture. It's not quite there yet, but we're getting there. Okay, so I'm gonna move the paddle attachment out the way so we can finish sifting our flour. So once again, we're adding in 6 cups, and we have 3 in so far. Okay, so time to add back the paddle attachment. bit of a mess. You see the flour cloud around it. That is okay. Show you guys better top-down view. This is what it looks like coming together. You see all the flour I got everywhere. As long as you clean up. Okay. So while that is mixing, we're gonna move on to our next ingredient. Now we just have to add the baking soda, the baking powder, salt, and the chocolate chips. There we go. 2 teaspoons. 1, 2. And baking powder, we need 1 teaspoon. And then we need 2 teaspoons of salt. I have sea salt. 1 and 2. I like how this is mixing together. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Okay, we're gonna raise it up. So now we have this thick mixture that we're going to go ahead and scrape the bowl and mix it by hand now. And then we're gonna fold in our chocolate chips with the spatula. Okay. I'm going to take the paddle attachment off. Get our product off of there. Set that aside. Now, one thing I love about this mixer, I love that it has a handle on the side. It twists off the base, has a side handle. So now we can mix our... Oh, that's embarrassing. Blooper. Okay, so my spatula is broke. That is okay. I have tons more. This is no trash. And that. Honestly, this one is my favorite spatula because it doesn't bend. This one is way better. Okay. I would say this is now evenly mixed. Okay, and now time to fold in our chocolate chips. Okay, so on to the next part of the recipe. We are going to go ahead and add in our chocolate chips into our dough, just so you guys can see that. So I did chill the dough. I had to wait to get some more chocolate chips from the store. Normally I would put the chocolate chips in first and then chill the dough, but now it's already chilled. We're just gonna go ahead and fold in the chips. We need about 4 cups, and this is a 2-cup measure. Yeah, this is a 2-cup measure. Okay. Ooh. Okay. And I did say before that this is for liquid, but since it's just chocolate chips, I mean, they don't have to be exact. I might even put less than the 4 cups, but we'll see. So that's the first 2 cups. Okay. And the second 2 cups. So yeah, I have a little bit left. less than, actually that would be exactly 4 technically. Okay. And now I'm gonna go in with my hands and just mix it together, only because it is a lot in this bowl, and I don't want my second spatula to break again, so. Let me pull this in. I'm wearing gloves because we are going to be serving 7 people, plus I don't want the dough on my hands. But either way, it is getting cooked, so it would be safe to touch either way. And another thing you can do for easier mixing, since it's basically a dough now, you can put some flour down on a clean surface. And you can just dump it out and just roll it on here. So you just have more space to work with. Just folding it in, trying to get all those chips distributed evenly into the dough. I don't want to overwork it. Like I said, the dough has been chilled, so I don't want to warm the dough with my hands too much. I gotta work fast here. This is our ball of cookie dough. Okay. So now we're gonna put this back into the bowl. Okay. Whenever I'm working with dough, this tool is always a nice tool to have. It's called a bench scraper. Basically, it's just to get the dough unstuck from the surface. Just scoop. And it can also be used to scrape the bowl as well. Easy cleanup. Stick it on. Got a giant cookie dough ball. And back in the bowl. Okay. So now that it's in the bowl, I'm gonna get a scooper so we can start scooping them out and putting them on the trays. So this should make approximately, I believe it should be 75. I would have to look at the recipe again, like I said earlier. But yeah, definitely a lot coming from this. Okay, so now we have our sheet tray with some parchment paper. When you're baking cookies, it's always good to line your trays with some parchment, so that way it protects the coating on your tray and you don't have to do too much scrubbing, and that will mess up its non-stick properties essentially. Also just makes it easier for removing them all at once so I can go on to the next batch, because I am limited on trays and on oven space. So it's gonna be a few different rounds of me doing this. So I'm using a ice cream scoop to scoop this. You could use teaspoons, a measuring cup, any size that you want. You can even use regular spoons. I'm choosing to use an ice cream scoop. So I feel like 1 full scoop, basically level, would be a decent size for 1 cookie. Okay, I'm gonna roll it into a ball in my hand and then place it on the tray. And then sometimes even having a cup of water full, because oil and fat don't mix, so having a cup of water handy will help you scoop so that way it doesn't stick to the scoop itself. I'm gonna go fill this with water. Okay, so I'm gonna scoop here, water in, level it off. Out the scoop. Roll it into a ball and place on the tray. Also, while I'm scooping, I'm just making sure that each ball has a a good amount of chocolate chip pieces. Personally, I hate when you're like eating cookies and you have like 5 chocolate chips in one, then you have 2 in another. So I just want to make sure everything's evenly distributed, even while we're scooping. So it looks like we have enough room for 4 across, and then we're gonna go down. Now the first batch has been scooped and rolled out. I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the oven while I work on rolling up the next batch. I want to do it like that so I have a nice rotation, so by the time I pop these in and finish traying those, these should be done baking. So that way we can have a nice rotation that just keep going and going and going. So yeah, wish me luck. Okay, before I roll out this next batch, I also want to tell you guys about the parchment paper that I have. It's this parchment pre-cut squares. It's honestly so convenient. They come out about this size, and I just like having this better because you just pull it and you go. You don't have to worry about ripping it perfectly because parchment paper is hard to tear in a sense. So that's just one of my favorite things to use. I found that one at the Dollar Tree, honestly. I haven't seen it in Walmart before, but just maybe other stores or stores that have baking aisles maybe have that. That's just something I always found convenient. So yeah, just back to rolling. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up for you guys. Later, we have the first and second batch of cookies are done. This is what they look like. I think they came up with a nice rise. They're nice and golden and even. Okay guys, so that is just the first part of my baking. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is nighttime now. So this did take quite some time of the day, but that is okay. I'm gonna pick this up tomorrow and finish up. So for now, I'm just gonna package the cookies airtight overnight, so that way we can do the next batches tomorrow. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna do this in a multi-part series, so stay tuned for the rest. Merry Christmas.